Emily Hubley, and we are watching Spellbound Hound. This film was directed by Pete Burnett. John Hubley was the supervising director. This was always one of our favorite cartoons growing up because we loved that hound. And he's so dogged, and he's just doing his job of trying to catch this guy.
Hello. Hello.
And I love in this how the phone looks like the hound, and also that Magoo, for some reason, has a picture behind his head that is either a young Magoo or it's Ralph, because it looks a lot like Ralph. Actually, all the human characters in this cartoon have their hound look, that they have their jowls and their
What's that?
and the bags under their eyes. Also, there are many, many phonograph jokes in this cartoon, and it's a cool thing that the song that's playing on Magoo's phonograph is Frankie and Johnny, which was turned into a UPA short later called Rudy Toot Toot that John directed and designed. So that's sort of a fun little aside. I also love how the escaped convict in this short is he's just bad. He's just bad, and there's just nothing there. There's no real description of him except that he's just sort of a bad guy who's trying to hide. And I love that they don't feel the need to give him any more backstory than that, except that he's just a big fat guy wearing stripes. All the black and white stripes in this film come into play in the story, which is also great. It's a design element, and then it's also a plot element that is really wonderful.
Get your hat, Ralph. The sun will burn you up without a hat. You gotta have one.
I love the way the convict's little butt wiggles
Oh, yes, yes.
by Magoo's weight going on. Because Magoo is always walking on things and walking on people, but he never seems to have any weight because he's one of those sort of husky, just a husk of himself, just a light little old man. He has no substance. So here's the doorknob that becomes the big clue as to where the convict is hiding and becomes the big plot element in the story that the dog's teeth show, and the dog has human teeth, and he's trying to explain that the guy's hiding in there, but Magoo, as usual, is clueless and is hell-bent to enjoy his leisure activities. Like, what does he do? He goes hunting, he goes fishing, he plays tennis. He's just a man of leisure, and it's like his job to go just partake in these sort of old man hobbies that he's so attached to. And there's the Frankie and Johnny song again comes into play. He can't figure out why the motorboat isn't running. And then I love this part when the wind blows in his shorts and his hat. It's such a great sight gag. And meanwhile, the doorknob, the dog, is still hasn't figured out that he's never going to be understood by this guy. And he's just pointing and telling him, and there's just no getting through.
I think I've got a nibble.
This part always made me think of Night of the Hunter, even though that was made years later.
What a monster. Must be a steel-headed trout, a walleyed pike. Yo-yo fish.
Bacchus does so much riffing, and he does so much improvising on the Magoo character, and this whole fishing part, this wasn't, I don't know, but I imagine that it wasn't all written in the script.
Ooh, a black-tailed catfish!
And this part I always made me think the The little dog in the Victrola, was that Victor Victrolas, I think, had the little dog that would pose next to him? I always thought that the dog's getting his head stuck in the phonograph speaker was a joke on that.
Great day, yes. Nothing like a swim to fix you up.
The red door, it becomes part of the story, even though it's also really, the colors in all of these cartoons are just, the color schemes are just perfect, perfectly brilliant.
Oh, here, Ralph, dry yourself. Where are you, boy? Where? Oh.
And yet it comes into the sunburn joke is a great one.
You're sunburned!
There's usually a moment in these cartoons when Magoo will put on his glasses and then you think, oh, he's going to see things clearly, but the glasses never actually help him understand the world any better. They just take him in another direction of misunderstanding. And here comes Ralph. So when we were talking about how Jerry Hausner came to the recording of this, I think that maybe Jerry Hausner was the voice of Ralph.
Pick him up!
The way Magoo just immediately doesn't recognize him, even though he's supposed to be like such a great friend. And here comes the finale with this great chase scene through the hunting lodge. There's the grizzly bear pelt, has to be nailed on the wall of every hunting fishing lodge. And the dog finally did his job.
Pick him up! I got you covered.
And the final use of the black and white striped curtains ends the story.